Oh, I've been recording this whole time. Okay. Hi, my name is Will, and I'm about 2.5 months on testosterone. So obviously the biggest elephant in the room in terms of changes that have happened since my last update is my voice. I've had significant progress in my voice dropping. So I've been very happy with that. The first thing I really noticed was I lost a lot of the higher pitches in my voice. And I noticed this a lot when I was trying to sing along to songs in the car and I couldn't get any sound to come out, and if I did, it sounded like a dog squeaky toy. And then I was having the occasional voice crack when I was speaking, but I tend to speak at the bottom of my range. So I wasn't noticing it as much in my speaking voice, because I don't tend to go for the higher pitch when I'm speaking unless it's like a customer service thing where I'm like really excited. And so I was definitely mostly noticing it when I was trying to sing. I wasn't feeling like I was gaining a lot of lower notes, and so I got really concerned about, I was like, I can't sing at all right now because no high notes are coming out. I haven't really gained much lower voice, so I was like, I just can't sing at all. And so I actually sought out a voice teacher online who does voice lessons for singing, specifically centered around trans voices. I found her. She gave me a bunch of vocal warm-ups to do. We went through my voice, and she kind of like helped me figure out how to use the muscles in the way to get the sound that I want. So I actually have, since having that lesson with her, I've had a lot more access to the higher notes that I had like lost before. They're not truly gone. A lot of them I just can't do anymore, but a good chunk of what I thought I couldn't access at all anymore, I can. I just needed to learn how to move the muscles in my neck in a way to make that sound, because my body was so used to doing it in the one way that it always had done it, and it couldn't figure out why that wasn't resulting in the noise that I was expecting to come out of my mouth. But like as soon as I figured out how the muscles should feel when I'm using them in order to try and get those higher notes in that lesson, ever since then I've been able to do it. So it needed to, like, something had to click in my brain to figure out how to access those. And while I was in that lesson, I actually found out that I had gained quite a significant amount of lower notes than I thought I did. Just because I never tried it, because my brain doesn't think to go lower than what it's always thought was the lowest that I could go. So I often find myself, I'm still talking the way that I was talking before, even though I can go lower if I just think about it. But like my body's just not accustomed to it yet. So yeah, definitely big changes in my voice. I feel like the next big change that has been happening has been involving hair. So I kind of talked about it in my last update that I was feeling like I was getting mustache, as delusional as it sounds, because I'm like, facial hair is one of the last things that people experience on T, and I'm definitely experiencing something, but it's definitely not like traditional facial hair. Because what was happening is the baby hairs on my upper lip were originally blonde. Like all the hair, the little peach fuzz on my face is blonde. I was born like bright blonde. So a lot of my body hair is bright blonde. And so all of like, I've never had, I know a lot of cis women will like wax their mustache or get threaded or something like that because they can see those like brown baby hairs there. Mine were always blonde, so I never had that to begin with. Pause appreciation for my nails. They're very pretty. I stopped painting my nails for a little while because I was like, I don't know, is it helping me pass better if I don't paint my nails? Are people seeing my nails and immediately thinking girl? And so I stopped painting them for a while. And I wasn't getting gendered correctly any more than I was before. And so I was like, if it's not gonna make a difference, I like pretty sparkly nails. Plus, my nails are so fragile. They fall apart. The nail itself, like it chips, it peels, things like that. And even I was doing just a base coat of clear to try and like hold together my nails, because that's what painting my nails basically does, is act like glue to create a single like hard together layer so that my nail doesn't fall apart. And so I was using a clear coat for a while to try and do that, but it doesn't work as well as like the like 3 layers of polish and a top coat and whatever, like that really solidifies my nails. I have a connective tissue disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and so a lot of things are like more fragile. Like I have very soft skin, it bruises easily, and I think the like really brittle, flaky, easily just collapse nails are part of that. I will look that up after this to see if that is true. If not, then it's something else. But my nails have always been so fragile. I've never done like gel or acrylic or anything because I'm like, those destroy your nails, and my nails get destroyed just existing. So I don't think I could put anything on them that would damage them further. So I've never ever done anything besides polish out of a bottle. But that's what prevents them from falling apart on me. So I was like, why should I give that up? I get to have pretty nails and not have my nails fall apart and be jagged edges all the time. So I went back to painting them. What was I talking about? Yeah, all of the body hair on my body is blonde. Not all of it, but what I've noticed happening is that the baby hairs along my upper lip, excuse any food that's in it, and of course you're not gonna be able to see it right now. No, you can kind of see the faint line here that's like a shadow, except there is no shadow there. Like this is the shadow, and even in the shadow you can see the like line. That's where I've gotten the baby fuzz has turned brown. So I have essentially what most cis women usually have, which is just that like brown peach fuzz above your lip. But mine was never brown before, and I found that interesting, but kind of made sense because when I went through puberty the first time, I had blonde hair on my head and that turned brown. Not as dark as this because I dye my hair darker, but kind of like a mousy ashy brown, and that happened during puberty. And so it makes sense that in my second time it would do that again, but with hairs that hadn't already gotten the message to go from blonde to brown. So they're not any thicker. They're not coarse kind of facial hair that you would think of, but it has changed color, which is interesting. The second interesting thing about facial hair for me is that I have had 2 hairs that I have found that have been thicker and coarser and more like that traditional facial hair texture, but they have been bleach blonde, like clear blonde, Snow White. And it's been, one was under my chin. I accidentally pulled it out because I was trying to get a good look at it, and I yanked it out of my chin. And the other one is kind of like in the sideburn area, it's right about here, and I could feel them there. It's like a difference in texture from the other hairs just existing on my skin, and they're pure white, and it's so strange. So I'm now thinking I'm gonna have a wispy little brown mustache and a really coarse blonde beard. And it's gonna look so weird. Yeah, so apparently my body can only either change the color of the hair or the texture of the hair, and not both. So that was what first started happening, was on my face here, and then some of my other body hair has also done what my mustache is doing, which is it's staying that really thin, wispy baby hairs texture, but changing colors to brown. And where I've been getting that is kind of along my chest, down my stomach, that like line down to your belly button, little, I think they call it the happy trail. Been getting kind of like the upper thigh area has also been turning brown. I'm trying to think of anywhere else that I've noticed it. So yeah, that's interesting. And I'm like a little upset about it because I am not a guy that particularly wants to be hairy. My dream is not to have a mustache and a beard. I think I would shave it. I'm just not a fan of the look, the feel, any of it. Yeah, it's never been my dream. I know a lot of trans guys are like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to grow this mustache. Like, their dream is to have like a full beard. That's not me. And so the fact that they have to wait so long for it, and it's one of the first things that's happening to me, and I don't even want it. I'm like, are you kidding me? I wish you would give more attention to my voice, which is what I actually want to change the most. But yeah, a lot of hair changes. One of the other major changes has been to my skin. Two kind of things related to that. One is my face skin has gotten oilier. Kind of noticed that in the last week, honestly. I don't know if that's hormonal or not. I'll quickly do a tangent on period cycles because I think that might be related. So my first period was very soon after I started testosterone. I think it was week 3. And it was awful. It was the same as I would normally get a period, in terms of flow, length, amount, that kind of stuff. But emotionally, I had a lot more symptoms. I was very affected mentally. My second period was very different. It was, so my typical period is about 10 days long. When I'm not on any kind of birth control, it is very heavy, very painful, and very long. On birth control is still very long, but it's not as heavy. It's probably a normal flow, and it's not painful. So it has gotten rid of my cramps, and the flow is probably what most people would experience when they're not on birth control at all. Really, on the kind of birth control that I've been on, I shouldn't have ever gotten a period on it. So the fact that it decreased the flow to a normal period tells you how heavy and extreme it was before. So 10-day long normal flow is kind of what I've been used to for a little while now. So this second period, since I started taking testosterone, was 3 days long, and it was incredibly light. I was only really using panty liners, and only because I was like, I feel like I should have something, but nothing ever went on them. It was only like I would see something when I went to pee. It was barely there. It was, however, painful. I got cramps again, which I haven't had for a while. What I think was basically happening was, I don't think my body built up any new amount of lining in my uterus from when the last period ended. I don't think it was, I think the testosterone blocked it from building up again. And so it was just like squeezing real hard trying to get the last few drops out, but there wasn't really much in there. So that's where I think the pain was. I think it was just like really trying to squeeze something out. But yes, that was interesting. And I did not have the emotional symptoms. I did, however, break out a lot, and I got really bloated, and I got a bunch of cravings for sugar. So hormonally, I could still, feel that my period was coming and I was on my period, but like the period itself was kind of non-existent. I'm due in the next couple days. So that's why I'm thinking maybe the oiliness in my skin this past week that I've been experiencing is just my period hormones. Because I tend to break out the week before my period, so I'm like, maybe it's just that. I don't know if it's my skin is deciding to become oilier now in general, and it's just started, because that's a symptom that you get when you go through puberty, oily skin. So it could be that, could be puberty oily skin that has started, or it could be hormonal oily skin. I'm not sure which it is, and I won't know until it is like maybe 2 weeks from now and it's still happening, or it has stopped, and then I will know which one it was. The second one has been with my piercings. So I actually recently learned this, that when you start testosterone, a lot of times your piercings can start to reject because of the changes in your skin. I think this is more to do with like really surface level piercings, so like facial piercings, like your eyebrow, where it's like there's not much skin between it and the surface. But I imagine this is less common for like through the lobe piercings, where it's like there's a significant amount of like meaty tissue there that it's not going to like fully eject your piercing. But my piercings in my earlobes got infected. I've had these since the day before my 7th birthday. I am 25, so they are healed. They should not be rejecting in any way or trying to close up, but they got infected just randomly one day. It's fine now. I think it has something to do with the skin in the piercing changing, and it freaked out. I don't know. If anyone is an actual piercer and knows stuff, maybe you could tell me what was happening there, but it just randomly decided to get infected in a piercing that's been healed for almost 20 years. I have started the process of trying to get top surgery. I thought I'd have a consultation appointment on the books right now, but I don't. I started the process of reaching out to get consultations, and it turns out you have to do a ton of work before they'll even schedule you for a consultation. I'm like, I'm trying to meet you and decide if I even want you to go to be my doctor, and I have to do all of this. Like what if I decide I don't want to go with them, and I had to do all that work to get to the point where I can say, yeah, no, never mind, I'll go with someone else. So that's kind of annoying. But like, I thought I'd have to get all the letters of recommendation and all that to approve scheduling the actual date of the surgery, not for scheduling a consultation about it, but whatever. So I've started that process, which is nice. I am considering body masculinization at the same time, because I am very pear-shaped. I carry a significant amount of my weight in my hips, and with weight redistribution on HRT, it's not that your body carries the fat cells from where they are to somewhere more masculine, which is kind of what I thought it was. When I think of the word redistribution, I think that my body is going to redistribute the fat. It's going to take it from where it was and redistribute it elsewhere. But no, it's going to from then on, when you gain new fat cells, put them in different places than it would normally go, but it's not going to do anything with the stuff that's already there. Unless those cells die off on their own of old age, or you lose a significant amount of weight, therefore burning those cells away, they're going to stay there. And at first I was like, well, I'm just gonna like go to the gym a ton and try and work this off. But I don't want to gain an unhealthy relationship with my body of like trying to lose a significant amount of weight, because I think I'm a healthy weight right now anyway. I don't want to I'd have to basically exercise so much to the point that I become stick thin, because I want to take away all of the fat in an area. So you're taking it down until there's no fat there. I feel like that's unhealthy for me to try and achieve. And in general, my family has a history of having a really hard time losing weight, just in terms of our metabolic nature. So genetically, I feel like it's not, both genetically and mentally, I feel like it's not gonna happen for me in terms of losing this weight. And so therefore it would be a waiting game of just waiting until those fat cells die of old age, which, if we go by the like saying of like, oh, every cell in your body regenerates every 7 years or whatever, I'm like, I don't want to wait 7 years to not have these curvy hips. And so I've really been thinking about the body masculinization surgery, which if you do it at the same time as top surgery, then you save money because you don't have to get put under anesthesia twice, because you have to pay for the operating room and the anesthesia. And so if you only have to pay once for that, then you have the different surgeries, but then you don't have to pay operating room and anesthesia for each one. You only have to do it once because you're only going in once, and you only have to recover once, all at once. So it seems like a good idea, possibly. I don't know. Let me know if you think there's any compelling argument as to why I shouldn't. But I don't know. I'm heavily considering it. I think I could be persuaded either way. But one of the reasons I'm considering it is because I have never once been gendered masculinely by a stranger, at all. And part of it, I think, is my height. I'm very short. Not a lot of guys are my height, but some are. I've encountered guys my height, so I'm like, part of it is that, perhaps, but I think a large majority of it is my body shape and that I am very curvaceous. Most hips on men do not look like mine. So I think that a big part of it is body shape for me, and I can build up muscle in the top to try and widen this out, but then that's just gonna lead to me having that hourglass shape of like, wabam, like it's not gonna make this part any smaller. So building myself up top isn't necessarily gonna fix that. And obviously top surgery will help a lot because my chest is quite large, and that certainly doesn't help with me getting misgendered. So once that's gone, that's gonna help a lot. But then I feel like, besides the angles where you see me from the front, I feel like my hips would still make people think of me in a feminine way, regardless of if I've had top surgery or not. So yeah, I feel like it's one of the major factors into the way that I'm gendered, because I see a lot of times guys talking online, trans guys, and they're like not even on T yet, and they're like, these are the ways that I like pass or whatever, and like this helps me pass like 50% of the time. And I'm like, you haven't even started T and you pass 50% of the time? I'm almost 3 months in and I've never once ever passed. there's one time where I think maybe, perhaps, but it was a very old lady. She was very busy. She called over to like her daughter or granddaughter and was like, hold on, like, need help with me with this or whatever. She could have said he's helping me. She could have said she's helping me, and I misheard it. Either way, that's the closest I've come to a stranger gendering me in a masculine way. I'm not even getting gendered in a neutral way. I'm getting heavily, very explicitly femininely gendered. So yeah, I've never once ever passed. And there's guys who aren't even on T and they pass. Even just once passing while not on T is way more than me not ever passing on T. And then there's obviously guys who pass once they're on T. I don't know, I've never ever experienced that. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm not like stick thin, skinny, because I think that helps a lot when there's not really any shape to your body because you don't have much on it. Like, you don't really have a lot of meat on your bones. So if you're just straight up and down a stick, I think it's easier to sway more masculine in terms of how people view you, by just changing the way that you dress and present yourself. I don't really have the option. At most, I look like a butch lesbian. There's just no getting around my body shape. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm heavily considering it. But obviously it's like another procedure and it's scary. So like, I don't know. I want to be informed and know what I'm getting into. So like, if there's anything where you're like, oh, please don't do that. It's like all these risks and blah, blah, blah. And like, that would help me make up my mind. But also if you've had it and you're like, it's great, I love it, I don't regret it at all, this is the best thing that I did, let me know. If you didn't get it and you regret not getting it, definitely let me know, because I don't want to regret not getting it and then having to like decide later on to get it. I don't know, I'm nervous. But yeah, it would be nice to pass 1% of the time at least. But yeah, that's been what's been going on with me lately. Been very busy, so I haven't been able to update very often. I was intending to do one on the 2-month mark, and then a week and a half went by and here I am. And even I haven't even uploaded, as I'm filming this, I haven't uploaded the 1 month, 1 week update that I filmed. So that's very late to be uploaded. Just know, as you're watching this, I am much further along in my transition than what you're seeing, because I upload whatever video that I upload when I record the next one, because when I go to record the next one, I remember that I haven't even uploaded the one before. So yeah, I'm gonna be uploading my like 1 month, 1 week update while I'm 2 months and 2 weeks on testosterone. So who knows when this 2-month one is gonna get uploaded, hopefully right after. So that's, if it also seems confusing where it's like, hold on, you said you were a month on T last week and now you've uploaded another video and you're 2 months on T, where did that come from? It's because I'm not uploading these the same day I'm filming them. I forget things. I forget that I didn't upload it. But yeah, very busy, a lot going on, things are happening. Yeah. I do want to include this. I have a symptom graph. I have a symptom tracking app, and one of the things you can track it in is your mood, and it gives you a handy little graph of your mood over time. And this is my graph, and you can see how my mood has been stabilizing the longer that I've been on T. So a lot less drastic up and downs, and a lot less downs in general. It's not only remaining kind of stable, but also remaining kind of high for a lot of the time. So I'm really happy about that. I'm happy that you can see what being on hormones has done for me mentally. So yeah, I just wanted to share that little piece of, I like that. So we will see if I film another video in 2 weeks at 3 months. I will try, because that is when I should be having my checkup for checking my hormone levels to make sure everything's going great, make sure I don't need to adjust my dose, possibly adjusting it higher or lower, whatever. I don't imagine I should need to go lower because I'm already on a half dose of the start. Like, I believe they usually start people off at like 40 and I'm at like 24. So like a little bit more than a half of the usual starting dose. So I shouldn't need to go down because it's too high. But I might need to go up. We'll see. I wanted to ease myself in on a lower dose and kind of increase as we go. I didn't want to give a huge shock to my body because I tend to react very strongly to medication. And you can tell based on the way that I'm pretty much hitting the markers for what I should be expecting at this time on T for if I was on a regular dose. So I'm glad I started on a lower dose because, oh my gosh, if I had started on higher, I don't know, maybe it would have been too high for me. And you don't want to have too high of a dose on T because the excess T in your body gets transfigured. I guess transformed. I don't know. Converted. That's the word I'm looking for. Into estrogen again. And so if you have too high of a dose of testosterone, you can actually go work your way back into giving yourself estrogen. So you want to make sure that you're not on too high of a dose. So I'm glad I started lower and can work my way up if needed. Because it would have been bad if I'd started too high and I was just counteracting myself by giving myself estrogen again. So yeah, hopefully I shall update you after that appointment and give you an update on how my levels are doing, if we're changing anything. But yeah, see you whenever.